Welcome to the Diamondmounter channel. Diamondmounter channel. Alright, here we go. Right, okay. Welcome to the Diamondmounter channel. If you're new to me, thank you very much for clicking on this video. I'm Chris Bilton. I was a professional jeweller in the UK for over 20 years, making high-end bespoke handmade pieces. But I quit that job because I got married and now I'm living in Japan, and I'm unemployable now as a jeweller because I don't speak Japanese good enough, even after 2 years living here. But I'm putting my skills to good use by making jewellery, making instructional videos and putting them on YouTube. So welcome. Have a look through the other videos on the channel. If you're looking to learn to make jewellery, I'm sure you're going to find some stuff that's going to be useful to you. So welcome. Cool. Right, today, it's been too long since I made something, so we're going to do another full instructional guide today. Not hugely complicated one, but one I haven't done anything like before. We're going to make a hinged earring, so just like a little hoop. There's a hinge at the back, and then the post clicks into position at the top, so it kind of snaps shut. So it's something quite common in jewellery shops. I think it's worth learning to make it. If you can make it, you can certainly repair one. So boom, straight into it. No mucking about today. This ring, this is the strip of metal I'm going to be using to make this earring. Not this big, this is a bit too big. In my experience, working in jewellery shops, smaller earrings sell easier than bigger earrings. Not all women like the look of bigger earrings or have the confidence to wear them or whatever reason. Like, just maybe a bigger earring feels like you're drawing attention to yourself more, I don't know. Anyway, but whatever reason, smaller ones sell a bit easier than bigger ones. So I'm going to reduce this a little bit. Ideally we want it to close up and look like a circle, would be nice. Doesn't have to be, you can make them a bit oval or whatever shape. But we're trying to get it a circle today. But this is too big, so I'm going to reduce this. Let's actually decide how big we want it. I mean, I'm thinking quite small. I mean, I'm going to have it quite a thick gauge because I'm considering cutting it up for setting afterwards. So I want it quite thick. So this is quite good, this bit of metal. This ring is actually what I made when I was learning to mark out stones in a new technique for a full eternity ring. That's what this ring is, anyway. It's way too big. I'm thinking quite a lot smaller, maybe 14 mil, like the outer diameter. Okay, this being a ring, I quite like the idea of that. So I'm going to cut a section out, reduce it, and then turn it up into a ring again. So it's so I can really appreciate the size of it, how I want it to look. And then, cause I don't really think I've made one of these before. Like, I feel like I know what to do, but I can't remember actually doing one before. I think I may have done years and years ago. Anyway, I don't think it's too difficult. I'll figure it out as I go along. Anyway, so I'm going to reduce that, get a circle again, make it into a ring again, and then I can appreciate what size I want. It's going to look quite chunky. Being that reduced to 14 mil across is going to look quite chunky, but I sort of want that. So I literally cut through the solder joint, get it out of alignment, and then just started curling it up with my half-round pliers. So I cut a section off, so it's getting really small, overlapped it a little bit more, and I'm sort of starting to like the look of that. Double checked it, and we are approaching what I wanted. So I'm going to cut that off now. Might kind of do. The measurement 40 mil is not that important. It's just what I imagined might look right. So getting there now. I might cut it up for setting, like as if it was a full eternity ring. Maybe I can make another video out of it for that, or possibly something as a bit of exclusive content for the patrons. We'll cut it up and then set it with consideration for people who are just wanting to see how this is made. I will just kind of get on with it. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm not showing every single stage in detail. Like, I'm not here going to talk about keeping the joint tight, or like how to use half-round pliers and, you know, how to solder. Like, I will just assume if you're watching this video and thinking of having a go at making this hinged earring, you've already got the kind of basics nailed. I would suggest you have at least a basic level of ability making jewellery before attempting this. Right, just sitting down at the bench next day, and yesterday I was really tired when I started this, and it's really apparent to me today. Like something I mentioned in my Good Craftsman Never Blames His Tools video that I did recently. I mentioned in that about making excuses on why you're not doing a good job at the bench, or why you did something wrong or badly or whatever. Yeah, one of the reasons I said was tiredness. Like, if you're tired, this job can be really difficult, and that's really apparent to me today. Yesterday I was tired, and I started this, and I was talking about making it 14mm diameter and the thicknesses and stuff, but I wasn't thinking the job through. Like, I wasn't considering all the extra things I have to do to it to get it complete. Today it's like I've got all the knowledge, just instant access to it. So I'm thinking about, I was talking about getting it round and stuff. I wasn't considering cutting through and creating the hinge, which might reduce it a little bit, and like chopping out a section, putting the post on, the sort of length of that post. Like, I've got all that knowledge today, so it's like, I think I did say, like, I don't think I made one before, but I can sort of remember doing it, but today I just know how to do it. Like, it doesn't even matter if I've made one before, because I slept well. I went to bed at like 9:30 and got up at 6:30, so I've had a really long rest. So, yeah, tiredness, like sleep. People, I think busy people think of sleep as something that just sort of gets in the way and stops them getting as much done in a day. But if there's one thing you've got to do in a 24-hour period, it's sleep. It's really important. Sleep more, you'll ironically get more done the more rest you've had. So just papering around it, filed the sides. If you've got a bit of a lumpy solder joint, I wouldn't worry that much, because we got to cut out a big section where the post will go across, so just cut out your solder joint. But it's nice to have something that's kind of decently round, and you've got nice parallel edges all the way around it, like similar measurements. Let me just tell you the measurements I've got, just so you know what looks like what. So it's just under 2.5, 2.45 on the sides. Depth 1.84, 1.75, yeah, 1.75, 1.75. Okay, this is gonna, not sure if I know how to explain what's going on in my head. Right, from the side, there's an earring. God, that's a good circle. So from the side, we've cut out this section. So the post is going there, and then this one in between that point, directly up the middle, that's where we'll be cutting it through. But it doesn't look like that when they're finished. That's where the rivet is, and then you end up with one side slightly longer than the other when you're looking at it from the side, even though we cut it through the middle. And the reason for that is, easiest way for me to draw this, I'll draw it looking straight down on it, yeah? Right, so imagine that turning like that. So now we've got this shape. Drill hole going right through the middle, but what's going on is we're making that. So drill hole goes down through there. So you've got one piece is full length here. This piece, we've actually cut all this away. I don't know how to explain this. Does this make any sense? I've lost confidence. So I've cut all that away to end up with this shape here, this white section. And then this one, there you go, I've cut it. One's white, one's black. So there you go. So there to there was full length, there to there was full length of the white one. So that's why one side looks longer than that side, even though we cut it in the middle. So to create that hinge, we need it in two parts, so we may as well just cut out this long section now. What did I decide? I sort of like, I mean, you could adjust this anyway. Once we've done the hinge, see what you think, because as element we're taking a sort of unknown distance out of that. So obviously you want it to finish off nice and round, but then you can adjust it with the length of the post and stuff, so it's quite flexible at this stage what we do. But I'm going to cut out about that much, about 7mm, call it. I would just do the old usual going down to the centre of the ring. I think we'll adjust it a bit after, but just so we're doing the same both sides, you know what to do. Just to mention again, cut out your solder joint, yeah? It would be a bit of a shame if you've made the effort to put a post on the hinge and stuff and then there's just a solder joint on one side. There's kind of no point in having that. Ta-da! Looking like an earring already. So now in between I go from your corners on the inside, in between those, directly in the middle, cut it in half, basically. You want two pieces, same. I'll just try and get them exactly the same. I'm not even going to measure anything or mark anything out. I'm just going to do this. Looking at my saw blade in between those two ends, get it in the middle, straight across. It's quite easy. There you go, just left of my mark I drew on there. I'm gonna hold it with these pliers, I think. And try and cut straight across, otherwise you've got to file it and then you're making one short than the other. If you cut it diagonal and then filed it straight. Okay. Just tidy up the ends a little bit. Out of the end piece, I'm going to cut out that central section first. And the other one, obviously, we'll be taking the sides away, so you've just got a little stick out coming out the middle. So I was thinking cutting it down to about there. You've got to cut quite a lot out because you want to be able to drill through it and not be too close to any edges. So I just put my saw blade on it. I did that. Okay, so obviously you don't want to hit one side, so you're going to be cutting but trying to keep one side as close to the other end as possible but not actually sawing into it. So just sawing down one side, about that much. So looking at that, I thought it looked like about 3mm. So 3mm there. But it's quite long now. So 3mm, yeah, down to about there. Yeah, a little bit further than I thought. So 2.5, 3mm, I think will do you. Maths people might want to measure that and divide it by 3 and draw little lines exactly where you need to cut out. I think for this kind of distance you don't really need to. Just get a line down the middle and cut down the middle, and then use a paper disc or whatever you can get in there, or just cut away the metal either side of that. There's not a huge amount. If we were dividing it into 4 or 5, then I might take my time to work out the actual lines that need to be cut. But for just cutting out a little centre section, I'm just going to cut into it and then just open it up. I think that's the easiest way. So now I'm looking at the inside. I want to be able to get the full length, but without cutting that one accidentally. So at the moment, the full length is there, so I need to bring that down a bit. So I cut down the middle as accurately as I could, and then I put a thicker saw blade in the frame and then just went down it again. And now a paper disc fits in the gap, so it's going to be really easy to open up. This is an old one, but I'll put a new one in and then just zing it back. Quite a quick job. So I opened it up quite a lot with the paper disc. Now I'm getting my saw blade in and just skimming back the sides. I think I mentioned this on my sawing techniques video. You've got to look at what you're doing though. So make sure you hold it in a way you can hold it securely and watch what you're doing. You want these lines, you want this to be nice and parallel, nice and middle, nice and straight. Kind of important for the hinge working nicely. Cut it with a saw blade, a thicker saw blade, paper disc it out, then I filed it back, like skimmed it back a bit, and now it's opened up enough I can get this file in. This is a very flat one, which I ground it even flatter. This is quite a good file because the teeth are quite fine as well, so I can get it really, really neat with this. So most of the work is done before, but this just kind of neatens it off just extra. So I've got a nice flat, perfectly flat, quite smooth as well, sides inside. So that's going to help my hinge work really nicely. Another way of doing this, if you've got a fine cylinder phrase, that would go in there quite nicely, but I'd be a little bit nervous of going off the centre. Maybe like if I feel like when I make the other side I need it to go a little bit deeper, because my saw blade will only go down, I can't go past where I don't want it to touch that, so I can only go at a certain angle. But if I need to touch it a bit more, maybe this is a good tool just to get it in there and just adjust the end of it a little bit, might be helpful. Okay, so I'm leaving that like that. May need a bit more adjusting, but I think it's kind of there 95% of the way. So next one, we are going to do the bit that slots into that. So I'm literally just going to put that on the side, draw a little line so I know how long it's got to go, and then same again, my divider's still set up the same, so score my little side lines, and now I've got my centre one visible. So I'll start cutting down the side and then use my majority of this doing the files to get the sides in and end up with like a little centre bit that goes in there. Definitely worth making the effort to carve this out of solid bits of metal, because you could solder that centre bit on, but then you've got a solder joint right there. It's a bit of a liability. You know, it's an earring, so it's going to be open and closed. People might not perfectly open it straight. They might put a bit of pressure on it sideways. It's going to get a bit of stress, so it's going to be a stronger thing if it's solid metal. Just lined them up just in my hands, scratched a little line level with that one so I know how far back to go, and then with my dividers I sort of took a measurement of the sides, and I did it in such a way where that centre piece now, which is the one we're keeping, is thicker than the gap, so it won't go in there, but the idea is I get to file it back slowly and accurately so it fits in there tight. If I cut that out too thin, it's going to be all rattly in there, and it's going to have that movement, which is not nice at all. It won't be a quality finished piece if it's all rattling about. So you want everything tight, like really snugly going together and just nicely fitted, and then it should work nicely as well. So you see my drawing on the board, yeah? I was talking about where it rivets, that top bit is at an angle. So I've got these two pieces, about to cut this one up. That's how it is before we cut through it. When this one's cut up, they fit like that, but then it's not round anymore, so when it's sitting round, and there you go, you got that line that it's not straight. It's not centre anymore, it's across, and it's got that angle on. That's why it happens. So that's it guys for part one. I'm going to leave it there. If you want to see the full instructional guide in its entirety, you need to become a patron or a Diamondmounter member. There's a link in the description to become a patron, or look for a join button on the Diamondmounter page. It's only the full instructional guides I divide up like this, and ask for a small contribution from viewers to have access to the full guide in their entire length. Everything else on the channel is free as usual, all the how-tos, all the comparisons, all the reviews, just all the advice. Everything else I offer, all the videos are full on YouTube as usual. There's only the full instructional guides I divide up like this, so I hope you don't feel too hard done by. But that's it. I'm gonna end this video now, and if you want to see the rest of it, follow those links, and the videos will be there for you. And it's not just this one video you're paying to see. You will have access to all the full instructional guides, as well as if you are an official member or official patron, you will have a lot of exclusive content as well. So there are other benefits. It's not just one video, one guide. So as the amount of full instructional guides increases, the value is going to become even greater, I believe. So it's just £5 or £10 a month for classic or official, and you can have access to all the full instructional guides I make. So as I make more, that value gets even better, I believe. So yeah, I hope you join, and if not, totally understand that, and I'll just see you on the next video. Bye.